Commander, we are ready when you are, sir.
Good morning. I'm Cadet Lieutenant Sean from the block of the Starboard Battalion Commander, and here's our continuous improvement briefing. This year, we're going to make sure that we create a transition bridge for life at the high school. Make sure that our seniors and junior cadets are able to declare one of the duty choices to enlist into any of our branches, to be enrolled into a 2-year to 4-year college, or to be employees into the workforce right after high school. Here's our table of contents. Please take a moment to look over. Begin I stated, I, the Battalion Commander, Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Knox, our Battalion Executive Officer is Cadet Major Benjamin Spiden. Our Battalion Command Sergeant Major is Command Sergeant Major Jesse Cross. Our Battalion S1 of Adjutant is Section Lieutenant Isabella Portatus. Our Battalion S2 of Security is Second Lieutenant, First Lieutenant Terrell Rodriguez. Our Battalion S3 of Operations is Cadet Major Sean Little. Our Battalion S4 of Supply is Second Lieutenant Ryan French. Our Battalion S5 of Public Relations is Second Lieutenant Elijah Sparks. This year's continuous improvement goal is to target junior and senior cadets and provide them opportunities to enable them to be able to declare one degrees to enlist, enrolled, and be employed into the workforce right after high school. In the next couple of slides, you'll be able to see data being quantified for graduation rates from last year and also that were in the ROTC program last year. It's going to show you if they declare one to 3 and if they did not. So here in our time, we want to make sure that all our juniors and cadets declare one to 3Ds. Here's our SMART acronym. In the next couple of slides, I'll be breaking down how the SMART acronym ties into our goal for this year. Our goal is specific because we've been targeting juniors and senior cadets in the program and also find that disconnect between how they've had 3 to 4 years of JROTC experience where we're not applying those skills to declare 1 to 3D. Once again, to enlist, enroll, and be employed at the high school. Our goal is measurable. Following that this chart, we hand over 21 cadets take our survey and tell us during the second semester, let us know that they did declare 1 to 3. Because by March, we want to make sure that our juniors and cadets did declare with us at the high school. Our goal is attainable because our command and staff are able to get a much deeper understanding of what it's like to be enlisted, of what's the enlistment process and what's the enrollment process and fill out scholarship for the RSC program. Or being able just to fill out the applications just to be enrolled into that 2-year to 4-year college. Also be able to have different agencies in our surrounding communities that come out and speak with our cadets about the employment process after being able to get into the workforce and join the military right after high school. Although it's realistic, we to sit down with individual cadets, ask the hat checkers to have it, talk with them. Hey, how's the process going? Was you already listening? How's the process going with your role? Do you need assistance from the top 3 or anybody that's on staff with doing those applications for colleges? Have you spoken with any employers and employment corps about a job as right after high school? Our goal is timely because we need to set a specific time frame in our CIP to make sure that they are doing the brainstorming, also be able to put it as action, also to execute efficiently. Here's our first fifth.
Our mission is to teach and model. As all the teachers here, all the classes that you take, our job is to teach and model not only the content that you got to know for each subject, but we want to teach and model executive functions. Executive functions are going to be the processes of thinking that people utilize in the workforce to actually solve a problem or to actually go in and assess issues that occur in the workforce. Also, we want to model and teach conflict resolution. That's one of the reasons why we have the advisory, where you can talk with an advisor and have various lessons, social emotional lessons. Soft skills. Those soft skills are the skills that businesses look for when they're hiring. people that are in the workforce. CTA does a lot of that with teaching you soft skills. So when you take all those skills and you put them together, that formulates the 3 E's. You have what you need in order to be enrolled in somebody's 4-year, 2-year college, enlisted in somebody's military, or employed in somebody's business. All of those skills, when you put them together, it doesn't matter what E you declare. If you have those skills, you're going to be productive citizens, and you're going to be not only academically sound, you're going to be socially sound, civically sound, and everything like that in order to be a productive citizen.
And just to piggyback on what offensive vision what she said, is that in our core class and also in our elective that we get here at Shaw, we want to make sure those skills that we are being applied are being able to declare one of the 3 E's right out of high school. So those skills that we're learning, we're going to be able to be successful and productive citizens right out of high school. Again, I stated our cadet Lieutenant Colonel Kenneth Box, the Shaw Raider retired commander, pointed with the color of brown, and I'm coming to 12th grade with a GPA of 3.5. My other activities that I'm involved in are all extracurricular activities in ROTC and the senior council here at Shaw High School. My future plans at the high school are to receive a 4-year degree, and I also declare one of the 3 Ds, which is enroll. Some of my primary battalion responsibilities are I'm the commander of the Bird Battalion, working alongside the XO and Sergeant Major, and also being able to provide supervision and guidance to our staff officers, make sure they are coordinating all plans efficiently, also being able to put plans together and receiving the proper training that they need. I support Sergeant Vertigo by serving as the class president here at Shaw High School, working as our working as the right-hand man to our principal, Dr. Hendricks, and being able to see that data, those graduation rates, and also that senior status from last year, that data, and they was able to reason also by the district how they had artistic experience, but wasn't applying those skills to that data. And being able to also get that data down to our staff, so how they I'd like to follow up the time Excel.
Third, 7th, officers. I've one color red. I'm in the 11th grade with GPA 3.48. Some other activities are all Shaw JROTC extra activities. I'm the active host member and a Red Cross volunteer. And I was a Shaw varsity wrestler. My future plans are to enlist in military combat. My primary responsibilities are to coordinate with talent staff while planning operations events, switch priorities, and stadium staff representatives who are XM and CSM. CSM. I support the Sergeant Dream Colt by streamlining key information with all staff members, key Excel personnel to coordinate efforts in accomplishing our CFP goals. And I assist staff in small objectives necessary to reach CFP goals, such as water consultation, water materials, and creating a list of people we need to carry out SOP and CFP operations. I also lead efforts to pick selling efforts with opportunities offered by student organizations at Shaw, so that we can get our JROTC cadets the experience they need to enlist or organizations such as GHSA, POSA, FBLA, we work with anybody to pull our bus out. I'll never fall about the sorry.
I could think Command Sergeant Distant Crops. I'm with the Battalion Command Sergeant Major with what we call from Red. I'm currently in 12th grade with a GPA of 2.7. Other activities I'm involved in are drill team, rear team, color guard, and flight detail. My feature plan to field listens to the military, and I have to declare one of the 3 Ds, which is enlistment. So my primary battalion responsibilities is that I am the senior enlisted advisor to the battalion. Also the assistant subordinate COs and total administrative duties and details. And I represent all the cadet and COs through our battalion, our staff meetings, and present their leadership ideas that they have for the next year, follow-up, and those staff meetings. I support the battalion improvement goal because as a senior enlisted cadet advisor, I communicate with those senior cadets that we have throughout the battalion, and I advise them to have a plan after high school to kind of get a step ahead and acquire one of the 3E's, whether that is listing into voluntary enrolling into college or employing the workforce. And I communicate with those juniors and cadets about every 3 or 4 weeks to just have a checkup on their plan and see if they can clear one of the 3E's. And for the indecisive ones that we have, talk with them about meeting with recruiters, going to our websites or going to the colleges or floors and applying to work businesses that they can make a good career out of. That will now be followed by the battalion.
Good morning, Aaron Cadet, Second Lieutenant Isabella Cortez. I've been tasked as one. I am the 10th grade and I have a white color bra. My GPA, I have a 3.3, and my other activities is being part of color guarding drill. And my future plan has is to go to a 4-year college, and I apply one of the 3E's, which is enrollment. So in my current overtime responsibilities is being main operator of job with the JROTC main event assistance. I've implemented referrals such as clothing, ranks, and award. I supervise plan and organize the execution of battalion awards and command of achievement rep. I provide evidence for the battalion. I support the battalion's achievement goal by supervising and executing battalion operations. I help recruit junior SC cadets into one of the 3E's, enrollment, enlisting, or employed. I'm tasked with looking for the jobs or targeting the junior and senior cadets. And I communicate with the top 3 of the battalion of how I can set up events for the supporting for the school. I communicate with other organizations at Shaw, such as FBLA and DACA. I provide an opportunities to gain experience in the multiple fields for the battalion cadets. I will not be followed by the DS and 2.
Morning, I'm Cadet First Lieutenant JROTC. I have the battalion assistant way to our blood. I currently in the 12th grade with a GPA of 2.5. Some of my after school activities that are radar, rifle, and drill team. And my friends at high school is in the gardening, which I chosen one of my 3E's, which is awesome. Alright, however, my responsibilities is to cut the press off. Hazard assessments for security cadets. I am also responsible for attacks on property, and I conduct light weather terrain analysis or any various that might pertain to our battalion structures. Way to support our battalion improvement goal is by attending all your C activities, such as our company will help out give out tables, so share tables. Give out candies and them off programs. Help inform our junior senior Spanish cadets on benefits that JROTC can give them, whether it's decide to enroll, be employed, or less. In my command with my first affairs, I can give them more information how I was able to declare with my 3E's, which is enlisting, and give them also how to pre jobs or the process of going into our forces. Now it all go by a street.
Rewarded and to the age to some early retired S3, Boeing color 8th grade. They're currently in 12th grade with GPA of 2.8. My other activities include seat to student and arson. My future plan at a college that are not of JROTC. Some of my primary battalion responsibilities include reviewing updating the organizational calendars, for JROTC activities, and generating task letters for important time events to brief the staff. Also participating in the event that may arise. I support the battalion improvement goal by correlating with our school admin for college careers and expos, as you'll see in the next slide. And I also set up 4 different events that correlate with the battalion's top 3 to brief them on how we could do. Alright. So in this slide, I have our timeline going over what different things were approved by Dr. Lutz or our other groups like FBLA, DEFCA, things like that, how their advisors cover us and then told us when we could have these events. We gave $100 donation to Trick or Treat. As well, our employment, we had Outback. Our enrollment, we had Columbus. And then our enlistment, we had all of our recruiters come.
We had Navy, Army, Air Force, and I believe Coast Guard. I will now be followed by our television.
Other activities I've been in, but is on Raider team, Saber team, and Drill team. My favorite play because it was all the kind of with brigade that then list. But my primary target capabilities is I maintain an arm room and supply room within China standards. I maintain proper welding condition to be after the S2, and make sure all units are issue necessary equipment and uniforms to get to the U without any problem. Support the battalion triple goal. I acquire and distribute materials for inmates that supply cadet knowledge and skills with employing and enlisting or enrolling. Working as a right-hand man to first started his schedule transportation to and from events, able to supply tables, transportation, etc. and coordinate with the S2 to supply college expos, rear views, etc. And I'll be followed by the S5.
I went second lieutenant Midas Sparks. My battalion is 5 for the wood colors grade, side grading of 12th grade with a GPA of 3.1. My other activities include Raiders team in the South of the Park at the end, and my feature place considering the players enrolled for a 4-year college. I support the battalion improvement fall by acquiring certain tools. My primary battalion responsibility is physically documenting all JROTC and functions, creating video pilots to promote the justice program, and creating monthly newsletters within the year with the year itself. We'll save a moment to review some examples I have recorded.
You know, you still owe me a class on Campbell Ice.
I got to with Kelly. Add me to that and roll me to.
Again,
I support the entire crew to go by advertising JROTC college on. I promote college, military activity as a battalion, brigade, and school levels. I also provide information about opportunities offered to the battalion. Personnel within the program while also recruiting youth.
so you're the true webmaster, right?
I'm Kia Chambers. I'm the president of the North Columbus Rowing Club, and we are here at Shaw High School today talking with students about different patterns. My career is a realtor. I sell real estate in the Tri-City area. So that's what we're doing today, but we have lots of people. We have real estate brokers here. We have stock brokers here. We have lawyers. We have judges. We have insurance agents. And all different types of careers because you all have so many options. And so we just wanted to share some of those options with you today. So the true knowledge of choice is not.
Well, my career started when I was a student here. I first sold an airplane in 2009 at the age of, I think I was 15. I flew an airplane before I drove a car. I started as soon as possible. By the time I graduated here in 2011, I was a private pilot on my way to college. In college, that's why I worked on my instrument rating. Then left college, worked as an EMT, used that money to work on my instrument, and then my flight instructor rating. To get there, it was a long road. I purchased an airplane to do it and found that was more cost effective. That got my flight instructor rating.
I have Miss Colleen here. She is a part of,
The North Columbus Rotary Club.
she is here to just tell you a little bit about her career and how she involves that career and just, being able to be kitted now to our and see her sit on other classes here at Shaw.
Well, thank you so much for having us in today. So I am the program chair at the North Columbus Rotary Club. So I work with our club president to invite guest speakers in so we as a club could learn more about our community and our state, how we can contribute. But you asked about my career. So workforce development, I know that sounds a little weird or different. It's not a common career path that people choose, but I feel very blessed. I work with Goodwill Industries on the side of the rivers, headquartered here in Columbus, Georgia. So those of you that have shopped or donated to our store, we thank you in advance because you allow me to do my work, which is helping people understand what their interests are and how they translate into the workplace. So we work with individuals to help understand where their career paths lie and what skills, education they may need in order to attain that career of choice and how to navigate that career. So I spend a lot of time working with employers in town, different organizations to make sure that we understand what the employer community needs, but also members in our community so they can be successful in the workplace.
This next video, we had some kids on a program travel to the rest of Georgia, but they were able to experience how policies in college work. So this video that's enrolled places to enroll in and
Going. I know what she does that if you and she is advocating, somewhat their experience advocate, and also how they will be able to make a decision on either listing, enrollment, or appeal. Avoiding a bit secular to it.
During I am that first attended Cortez, my experience at group was life changing. I got to experience the walls repelling and began.
I enjoyed seeing the captains as a whole, but experience altogether is to the ability to be school underneath 10. And that's CAD. It was all great.
yeah, the pull-up.
Sorry. Now, with this experience that you're about that, how would you be able to make the decision of people listening their role was more important?
It really decided on whether or not I was to go to an ROTC based college. And whether we helps the decision to decide if I want to do that and to decide if I wanted to go to a very liberal town.
I agree with her statement. I feel like it gave me a great option as to where to go to and a safe place. It's also a pretty fun experience.
That would be followed by a guy. Yeah.
Right. So here's our stat need. Please take a note at the rich testing. So for the first 3 months of the school year, being August, September, and October, we spent that time discussing ideas from the contingency for a plan and discussing ideas for what we wanted to share, how we wanted to affect being up top. We decided that we wanted to improve graduation rates overall. It's more specifically how we can impact our students, youth vets, teachers that all have careers with me in the workforce, in the military, or in the college after high school. I'd like to highlight our September 19th reversal with shadows. So during this reversal, our briefing was nowhere to go. How did we had ground pipe and what to do, and we set our goal for this year. Over the next 3 months, we spent that time doing a lot of our SOP operations and going with community and gathering data, experience for our teams. That's all free at least. I'd like to highlight the October 3rd CIE planning and developing Kia store visit. During that time, we spent a lot of time gathering data for our juniors and seniors, and we also talked to the Kia Auto Sport organization in Columbus, representing the plaques for their help with town support. And we also gave some teachers and vets opportunities to explore employment in that field. I also like to highlight the October 10th trunk or treat execution, where we donated $100 to shop to join in the trunk or treat. We also had multiple recruiters from the Navy, the Army, I think it was Coast Guard and the Air Force. They came out and we also give out community. Some of our juniors, got spent a lot of time talking with recruiters, learning about how they can enroll. They had 4-year ROTC program or enlist in the military in one of their branches. And over the next 3 months, we spent a lot of time gathering data from those experiences, gathering experience from those experiences, and talking about how that impacted our JROTC bits. And we put a lot of that as to our briefing that you're seeing today. I'd be out to January 27th, CIP rebooks on Sackville Sanders. That was one of our closer to finished products. We definitely got to be cheap for Sackville Sanders and cheap outs on how we could improve our briefing. So we took that, and over the next 3 months, we improved and critique our plan so that we can refine the data and refine the brief form so it's clear, concise, and gets forward processable stack. Our finished product that you're seeing today was finished around March 1st with the highlight. That was another reversal build with technical centers. That was supposed to finish products. Very few tweaks have been made after that presentation. So that's pretty much the end of our plan. And now we're here to finish product. Thank you, Zeph. I'd like to follow by the telecommute.
So here's a spot where we will sharpen the issue. An issue of commencing. We learned to gather previous graduation rates of last year and also be able to see that our past seniors' plans at the high school. Many juniors see today's the after clear one with them after their high school career. And we wanted to make sure that we approved that. So if it be our cadre and also if they notice that they got 3 to 4 years of JROTC experience or not find those skills in development 3 years. How did we accomplish our goal? By meeting with the staff and all the communities that are of the time to come up with methods to build bridges on that connect with to ensure them that they can have opportunity. We also met with assignment administration for college, those also career fairs, so we can make sure that our seniors and junior cadets got those opportunities that they needed. How do we ensure our goals? By evaluating graduation rates in the third of dating all former cadets, all what they do since graduation. How do we establish our goal? By meeting with cadre, also school admin and key leaders in our time to assist was need to be approved. How do we support a higher ratio of our plan the goal? So when they are cadets to be successful and proactive assist and make sure that they see at the high school. We thought our graduation truth, but this year we're going to look at year 2021 tweets. Had that 91 spot 84, and then the next slide we'll be able to see how many of those seniors were cadets in our program. They'll also break down the seniors how they would take to enlist and roll in court, and then also set percentage of how many that they did not declare when they did. So last year we had total 25. And then LD breaking broken down. But this is what we're trying to improve. Like with the underside was very, very high. Here's this year's chart. We had about total 26 seniors in the program this year. And by these charts, you have all the year to my left, you have the first semester and how many of that were undecided the first semester. And then we want to make sure that we improve that by our second semester. So by the second semester, we'll be able to see when we took our survey to ask them, hey, have you declared when there's these the second semester? And they was able to let us know which either they declare after that. Our plans for the future. We want to make sure that we continue to establish connections with colleges and military elementary providers. Also to continue efforts in job fairs and also recruit prepared and positive hall for sauce that we have in our program. I mentioned that we improved the college admits test score, and also the military don't get that admits for test scores as well. Our reflections. One great advantage. Had college recruiters call with Illinois and had Mrs. Dr. and CSU guys are super fair come out and brief our seriously here today on the opportunity that RTC's help should get offered on. Which on in the RTC program, I was able to have recruiters come out there lunch periods to talk about our with all the class that were interested in this the process. We also did broadcast pattern on visiting the class summit. In fact, we also be able to visit the key plant and make sure that they will be able to get a job right after high school. Any questions, comments for?
Okay. Good. Salt call is over. I will not see it. All right. Awesome job, down and gals. How did for always say ladies, not kids on the back of his back.
Let me say to you all, as your principal, I sit here very proud. You all know I'm very data content. You took the information, did what we call a deep dive, and you have taken my vision and you've put it up on the screen. But the beautiful part of it is I'm seeing now you're cognizant of what your next steps will be after you leave the four walls in which we call Shaw Heights. And ultimately, that's what I wanted. You all to be cognizant, but be prepared to leave this building and wherever you choose to go, be effective, be supportive, and be instrumental in growth and gains, not only your growth and gains, but the growth, the gains, the advancement of your family members, as well as people in the community. I sit here proud today. Job well done. Job well done.
Okay. I will tell you, thank Dr. Hendricks. I will tell you, I taught at the university seeking program for 4 years, and I will not kid you one bit. I will say these are college students, right? This was better than any of the briefs that I received at the university while I taught for 4 years. You concur, Mate? If you're on point. I will tell you the 3 E's is hard. A lot of work goes into it, and you also support Miss Thomas's vision, and hers is future focused. Future focused, and it ties into 3 E's. I will tell you, I had no idea when I first stopped by there was going to be the 3 E's. I was like, man, where are we going to go with this? Now I figure out, where the plans were headed, because in high school, you only have those 3 options. The other 2 options don't apply, and that's incarceration or dead, right? Those 2 options aren't on the table. But as a student, those are truly the only 3 options you have. Your education, some form of service, okay, and having a job or career. So when I was in the basement until you're 42. And then you say, Mom and Dad, I think I got it now. I figured it out. I want to go to work. So I commend you on taking this monumental task of, as Dr. Hendricks said, taking a deep dive and just really trying to figure out and help your peers figure out what they want to do post-high school. Okay? So awesome job on that. We're just going to provide you some additional feedback. And I will ask each one of the staff members, if you had to go back and recap your your biggest contribution to the CIP, just think about that. And I'll just ask that, what was your biggest contribution for the CIP? Mention it, several options and things that you did, but that big one takeaway, that how you contributed, okay? All right. One thing I'll talk about is your SMART goal. I like your SMART goal. The only question I would ask is, when you said the measurable piece, do you think if you potentially gave a timeline out, I can't recall if you did, for example, we're going to measure this, that everyone identifies their future plans. I'm just making this up, by April or by March. You have the information, but I think you quantify by potentially give it a deadline of when everybody will potentially declare what they're going to do, I guess. But other than that, everything else on the SMART goal ties into what you're trying to achieve with your goal. I think the plug with Dr. Hendricks
If she was not present, it would give the audience a good feel for her vision and it will be nested and it supports your team's improvement. So I commend you for that. Go back to that first graph. I think you said the measurable piece. Kind of talk me through that one more time. The very first one, I think you mentioned something about the surveys.
Oh, the fire of it. This is a chart before you survey. So very much the one picture that countries is in use for identified and know that have they already declared with the dreams. And this survey chart the date Africa.
And so one recommendation is, I will say after that, you maybe show or embed what the survey looked like, just as a, okay, it was question 1, question 2, or you can have it as a handout. Kind of what the survey entails. So what were some of the questions on the survey?
So we have
Who made the survey? Okay.
So there were 4 questions on there. Is illustrated how to act. The first 2 questions about to show you actually about the first semester, okay, about what you did, Doc. You were deciding. Do you know about the 3 decided? You just went up down. Okay, and then the other 2 questions it shows you about the second semester. Is I'll let you have it cleared already, but you're still undecided. So, okay. And then did the survey ask potentially what type of, job or career field they were looking at? Maybe like if they said employment, this would be, welder. You said like, hey, if it's doing it, like, okay, which is good. Just another level on it. If you look at it, first it says employment. You could maybe have one said, next question is what field, or if you say education. You get maybe a sequel to that is 2-year, 4-year, or something like that. But to get to the 3, you have all the V of it, but that's just another, part B of the 2.0 that you could add to it. So just additional information on it. Okay, who collected the data? Who built the data slide? Or the graduation rate? I'll collect that. Okay, anybody help you with that?
Yes, sir. Measure those all deposits. Okay. What was the most difficult part about the data collection? Did you have any challenges with the data collection that made it a little difficult to try to decipher fact?
I'll say also, because when I met with our principal, she had was one to us as a principal to be able to put that down to me. So when I looked at it, for the chart was already made. Okay. The 15 out there to play in, it was very easy to add says. Then be able to break it down for the students that were in our program, be able to pop and cheap at first hard to what those cities did, because they still have connection with them. It was really better did connect.
I will tell you the biggest thing we talked about with continuous improvement, it's not necessarily if you met that goal you wanted. You could have fallen a little short of your goal or exceeded your goal. But what we're more concerned is the process that you go through to solve a problem. So someone identified that students here or in the program were unsure about their plans after high school, right? So you all took a monumental task to say, okay, how can we fix this and really focus our time and energy on the unknowns? And I think that was a good deal for what you all did. And the process, I truly believe, how many juniors and below we have in here? Okay, so now you know what a continuous improvement briefing, what it looks like, right? So therefore, when we work on next year, we have a baseline that we recorded that we can play for the next group to show, hey, here's the baseline. The only thing we can do is get better and better on our continuous improvement, right? I think the 3s are important. And I think if every kid could declare one of those 3s, a lot of problems that we have in society today would not have, because I know where going after high school. Okay? All right? We're in it.
Great job. Great job. I think one of the best ones that I've seen so far this year, if not the best one. You can tell that you guys really, rehearsed, took the time to write your slide, looking at the slide a lot. So kudos to you. Okay. That's the way to do it. Regardless of where you do in your careers. You at some point you're going to reach somebody, talk to somebody about it. So
That tells you that you prepare, you rehearse, okay, and you're ready to go. The only thing that I get, it's a great briefing. It's a lot of information. It's a great task what you guys try to achieve here, which is basically, correct me if I'm wrong, to ensure those 3 employee cadets have declared one of those 3, which is ties up with CDA, which ties up our liability effort JROTC, which is developed. So, 3 lines of effort. Wakes on, see our CTA mission, this man with a roll band and so forth. So now you presented the goal was to, 3 and 4 year, Now, why is that a problem? That slide that you have almost at the end, the senior chart 21, 22, 25, the total unknown. I would have presented that in the front and say, here's why this is goal that we selected, because we have 25 or unknown, this is the unknown numbers of students that have not declared at this point what they can do. And that's the data I didn't present. This is the data that backs up my goal. So right in front. And then they're not, okay, I got it. So this is why they're doing this, because whatever number I can see, I think broke 20 over almost 20 under 20 this 3 or 4 years. That's saying, oh no, they don't know, which is a big problem right now. As you ask to see it, I go, well, I don't know. What? This is March. This is April. You need to know. So I would put that in the front, right from the back. This is live. Our goal, we picked that goal. Here's why. Here's the data that backs up that goal. That's one thing. Then the other thing, you presented a timeline, just like he said, you presented the timeline. I would present some benchmark. So, I would have that survey you did in the beginning, probably the same survey, maybe December, maybe January. So you see, we're achieving our goal, we're improving or not. So that's what you have some benchmarks, Then you put the survey again in at the end. Okay, to see the difference between either we going up or we going down. We're not going anywhere. Okay, and how you evaluate your plan is it working? If I do working, it's not. So that's but again, you had everything. I just I'm really impressed with what you guys did here. Other than that, and I know Sandra was trying to get you guys, what did you do for the improvement plan? There was something that you guys did that you guys did not put it here. Did not mention, As a time commander, I collected the data, I put the slide, simple stuff. I saw the S1, I believe she said, I coordinated this event or whatever. That's what we want to see. So specific, even if it's high, I just added the number of the chart. Okay, that's your contribution to the plan. Great job.
This is I'm blown away. This is incredible. I've been in the business 8 years, and I've seen every year go around all towards move with some increase. This is by far the most elegant, most well put together brief, and you all know this stuff. And it's obvious that your instructors had very little to do with, why you attack this and how you attack. I'm going to be very nitpicky off me to find something to talk about, which is epiphany. So Carl Mendez kind of took one of my things. Create a timeline, right? We have to have a time. We have to have a road. Along those roadmaps, we want to have those set points or assessments. We want to go through, I think you use the word check-in. What could you try to use as a check-in or an assessment tool along the way from August up until now? What could you have done? Anyone?
I think the Google form sheet was a good idea. Just having it open to update your progress. So if you said you wanted to work at, and you want to be a graphic designer, so you did some internship hours. So you put in, hey, I did some internship hours. I'm working towards being that graphic designer. I think a constantly running Google form would be good to check that out.
Okay, great. I mean, again, that lets you know, because there's a thing in professional that we call pivoting. Well, we create these great plans right out and create these great plans, and we execute the plan, and we realize this is not the desired outcome that we wanted. So we have to pivot, meaning we have to go back reassess the plan, and come up with something slightly different. So
We call it a midlife correction.
I like it. So that gives you an opportunity to kind of, if you're on the right midlife correction glide path, here's the right glide path for reaching your goal, right? What's the difference between a milestone and a timeline? Anyone know? Kind of talking about it. What you got to?
A milestone is actually achieving it. It's like achieving the goal that you set. And then a timeline is everything that you did to achieve.
Right. So a milestone or mini goals that will help you support achieving your end goal. Where that's what milestones are for. And those are critical when you're actually develop, especially a plan over an extended period of time. You gotta have those to start your, if you're walking in the blind with no crash light. The slide, the graduation slide, great data, great collaboration with your administration. And I have to say, Doctor, I definitely you to create it. I have never seen a administrator that seemed so supportive of your student. You all bend over backward. I know you have a lot of things. You don't have a lot of things that they man, but you all do an amazing job of making time for these kids.
There are chips in that.
And it's optics instead of. So what was the measurable? So were you trying to do, so I'm looking at the slide and listening to your information. So were you trying to reduce the unknown numbers? By what? What was your goal? By the time March, what was your?
By the time March is, make sure that all our they have declared when the series.
Okay, at their end. Put that up there on the map. If you want to reduce it by 50%, you want to reduce it by 100%, whatever that is, just make sure it's attainable. And then you put those milestones in there. It'll let you know if you need to in-flight correction or you need to pivot, right? Overall, amazing job. And I also want to give you all credit for being team players. We sat in on a current ended and I sat in on a briefing on Monday at Central Talbot in Talbot County, and they had this video, and I know they have some challenges out there, so I asked the instructor who and how. He said, Shaw helped me out. Shaw helped us, our cadets, and collaborated and helped us. So thank you for extending your resources and your influence beyond your campus. That means a lot. That shows us that you are truly invested in the community as a whole, not just at the Raider Nation. All right, so keep that up. That's all I have.
Okay. Great job. I've kept my promise. You want to do that one goal nutty. Right? If I forgot. I did. All right. And I will go in reverse from my from my buddy to my left, Mr. Sparks. Just give that one contribution. If we had to just sum it all up, that one contribution that you think that he made the biggest impact. I said the graphics. Okay, so it's one thing to read or on the screen, but actually see it in motion with like pictures and video and whatever kind of thing, kind of make that sip. And I will tell you, the video was that added bonus. You're not seeing what Ms. Chambers said or the young man that was graduated from high school in 2011. Wow, Shaw, it's up, right? So, picture, video is worth millions of words. And that was an awesome job. And then you see the video is not just JROTC cadet. It's the entire school body participating. So it went outside of just the JROTC. You were helping other students figure out and ID their E. Okay? Girl? You're just give me that one gold next.
Possibly or like planning and coordinating
Okay.
with everyone's to get like to the
Okay.
anyway, planning and coordinating, get with everyone. Okay. Keep it straight point, no man. That we don't like slack off. Or like basically how I see it is like one big stutter. You don't want to stutter. Okay. You keep that looking know what I mean? Okay. So that's how you have to
Okay. All right. Miss Lip.
I think I hope to actually get
things in for you. I'm not just saying they need to go be in another lesson employee. I brought this in. It was Outback, AT&T with our CZ talk to people. We got the recruiters to actually come in. We didn't just make the student go out.
They're brought it part of the house. Okay, that's awesome. Yes, sir.
I will say more like spraying the word. Like, I'm more of a verbal person. It's like the way I can describe myself better. It's just thinking to my friends, well, Spanish and English, and by that I can say like a few of my friends have decided to like roll or list like about 4 of them were on the list. Okay, that's pretty much that. It's more like a person, like handsome hand, like talking.
Yeah, I think that was great. You talked about the other staff speaking students and cadets, and I guess that number's growing a little bit. And I think that is great that you can do that and still pass that great knowledge on to the Spanish speakers. That's awesome. Oh, is it? Okay. Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Yes, ma'am.
And they really just organizing. I kind of show some the children and make sure that whenever I do for the whether bridging to communicate, that's something I really like to do, communicating and organizing my pens. So it just so
Okay. All right. Past 5.
If I think definitely did a lot. Our staff did a lot. I'd say my biggest contribution probably was the organization of the events and operations carried out to really get our vets into the community. They get into explore the trades and allow channeling the mission through our organization. I'm pretty close with a lot of our company committees, first audience, a lot of people in leadership positions. So I definitely talk to them a lot about what we were doing at headquarters. And I told them, like, leather vets, that, like, hey, if you have ideas for how we can get you out in the community to learn more about trees, let us know. I think we did a really good job of implementing that and kind of molding what we did with the SLP and CIP operations. We molded that to where we could get those cadets where they wanted to be subject criminal.
I believe if I went down to any class period, and I believe if I asked any of the students, one kid, one young person in every class period, I truly feel confident that if I ask one of the students to find the 3 E's, I'm really confident that any student I ask could truly tell what the 3 E's. I doesn't believe it. I feel it. And I'm not a touchy-feely kind, but I feel it. I just feel that good vibe that if I ask a student, they can tell. Okay. Cross? I think my biggest contribution was talking with those cadets to, just check up on them, if they decided what they wanted to do or not. So I talked with some cadets, as some of them did change their minds from what they wanted to do. They said all in the first month or in the first semester, they were sticking with enlisting, and then the second semester, some of them chose to change their mind and go into everyone at a college or just going straight into the workforce and apply for some businesses. And, for those students and cadets that were still undecisive of what they wanted to do, I sat down with them and gave them some options. And I told some of them that, we could sit down and take a day to go talk with work for, I get them some websites that they can go to for like college information, like CSU, Georgia Tech, colleges like that. Just gave them ideas of what businesses that they can apply for, and so they make it clear for themselves. Okay, and that's what they need. Some students just need a little bit of proper. But what I will tell you is, don't let the teaser and stop as of today. Continue to focus on the other students that are still kind of waffling which way they're going to go. So carry it all the way out until we depart, later in May. Just keep doing that. Talking to them. Hey, have you decided? Have you decided? Have you decided? So they can have a choice for a good career after high school. Okay. All right, Commander. Who was the timekeeper? Okay, so what was the time?
30 minutes and somebody said.
So 29 minutes and 7 seconds.
So Paul, seconds for when I interrupted everybody and said Christ. So, so how many points matters the continuous improvement work? 30 minutes. How many points? Right. And you're right. 35. All right. And you have 30 minutes to do it. And if you would have been at 32 minutes, this is a great briefing. You would not be penalized for if you were at 35. I'm just going to be honest. Now, if you were an hour later, we may have some problem. Right. But great discussion, great dialogue. We're always happy to come out to visit with cadets. And I love coming out to Shaw all the time. So, job well done. I'll continue to push the continuous improvement until school is out and help your peers declare 1 to 3s.
Well, all right, yeah, thank you. I know that this was your plan for this year, but I will tell you this is critical for the success of your students. It is critical for the survival of our community that this becomes a real purpose issue. Whoever the command team and staff are, you guys have got to figure out a way to get them and give them the time to sit down and talk to all the cadets about the plan. Because I have a high school senior now, and he's changed his glide paths 3 times in his senior year. I'm like, hey man, we've been talking about this thing at grade. We're on the 5-yard lines. You're fumbling the ball. So, and it's better received coming from you all rather than parents, rather than educators, rather than administrators, because they don't feel as much pressure when they approach them about what their plans are, and you show them that you truly have a concern about what they're going to do after they leave high school. Because believe it or not, life really starts after you walk across the state. It really is real and gets scary. Have it to face it. So having this conversation is critical. Even with your 9th grade, I would even say let one in 9th grade start having a conversation out like that senior early. So that way you don't have to do as much work when they're at that junior year, that senior year, already have their plan kind of laid out. They might have to tweak it a little bit here and there, but they at least have a plan, right?
That definitely played a big factor into our actually choosing the goal this year, because we were looking at last year's. Like last year's was improving, I think it was actual activity participation. For true. We were looking at it like, well, that was effective for this year, but we wanted but a goal sad, not only effective this year, but hopefully affects every year after. We want to plant the roots of a program that we can expand. For example, we started a ASVAB tutoring system that just started this year. We hope to expand that to every single field in science, math, English, in CE efforts. We want to really expand the school. We think this could be really effective, not only a Shaw, but in the community and the district as a whole. So yeah, we know this will definitely give something off.
When the students do not know, we picked up Viable, which is a new program. They all took a RIASEC. The RIASEC was the continuous inventory for us to dig deeper, to see what areas they best perform. So all of them have a RIASEC score, but we didn't go deeper into RIASEC this year. Our goal is to actually next year go deeper into the RIASEC so that they can see where do I perform the best. But I talked with our Viable rep yesterday, and she provided me with some off-the-record data for Shaw. So now I'm able to actually see what the kids' interests are. So I'm going to sit with the counselors, and our counselors, as we talk with our student leaders, our student council, our events and our activities in reference to the 3 Ps will be centered around that data from their RIASEC that I'm pulling now that I'm able to get. And our students will dig deeper into their RIASEC next year. It was more of getting to know the program first, so that once we get to know the program, we can move to, here are my RIASEC scores. Now I'm taking the world of work and bringing it into this building. And ultimately, that's what I want to do, to bring the world of work into the building, and they understand how each entity works, so that when they declare that those 3 E's, they'll know, here are my interests, here are my strengths, this is where I need this is that direction I need to head in order to, to be successful and do something that they want and they love doing, more so than just picking up a job, just the habit. So you guys, now I gave you a sneak peek into next year's focus.
Real quick, I'll be remiss if I didn't address you all to tell you how extremely proud I am of all of you. Okay, because I've had some hard times in here, ready for this. All right, but look, it paid off. All right, it paid off. I know that Chief Warrant Officer came out and, whoosh, I know it's rough, but guess what? Made you all better. Say, if you were let 3, raise your hand. Well, I started with me. Every year, y'all is blowing me away. I still remember y'all little snotty nose face sons. Thank you. Now look at you. Look at you. Started out there, know your left and right, up and down, and look at you. You got a lot of sorry comments that says you presented briefings that excel you in the college level. That's just, yeah. I had to hold back a couple of tears because y'all just made me so proud. Okay, thank you so. But the purpose of the JPA, when I look at the regulation, I'm a warrant officer. He always in books and read stuff like that is not intended to be an inspection, but it's for them to take a look at us to see if we're improving from the last years. And based off of everything that was just said, we're moving in the right direction. You guys have raised the bar once again. I'm super proud of you. Leadership for next year. Gonna do it again. All right. I know we got another breach.
When I've been prosecuting, this is a snapshot. This is the one that I'll probably 9 times out of 8. 9 times out of 8, right? Highlight during my DAI closeout on what we've observed in terms of types of continuous improvement, not the normal improved PE, not the improved wear of a uniform, not improved. This right here impacts everybody. And it's future focused, not dress it out, not wearing the uniform, not going to detention. This is a big deal. Totally outside of the box. Okay, and I commend you all for that. Okay, Chief, could you email me this?
Hamlet's there, I can say, you guys, y'all have been able to see my vision better sometimes than some of the teachers in. Y'all see my vision. And I'm just going to be honest. Y'all, you see my vision, but as Colonel Sanders was saying, you're the ones that have to sell it. And that's the reason why we interact and we talk with you all, so that you can see what's up here, and then it can manifest out there. Okay? Continue doing the work. Continue educating. Each one teach one. Each one reach one. Reach your peers. Because at the end of the day, you guys are going to move forward and lead this country. And as I often say, take care of me.
That's right.
Down well.
Great job. Awesome.
Or we're going to in fact, I'm not trying to. I'm going to say it in a bit of a podcast.